everyone, it's HazBo bringing you the second episode in the build series. And if I remember rightly, in the first episode of the build series, I'm pretty sure I left you guys a clue. It was Edith Piaf, I believe. Unfortunately at the time, YouTube didn't like it, so I had to remove it from the end of the video. It's a shame really, because it would have just rounded it off quite nicely. And for those who didn't get it, basically it was a song that played at the end of Saving Pivate Ryan. Specifically the battle for Ramelle, which is what this build video is going to be. And as we discussed in the last video, I did say I was going to provide more of an insight, like the thought process behind my map builds. So I suppose the natural step after selecting the build you want to do is to find a terrain that best mimics the surrounding area of that specific build. So in Ramelle's case, it was Rosche or Rosche. I'm not sure on the correct pronunciation, to be fair. It's a great map made by WA Lancer and Haggerty. I'll provide the workshop link below in the description for you. Why did I choose this map? Well, it's perfect, to be honest. It had the river, had surrounding flat terrain, and a road network that kind of supported or suited my needs at the time. Now, you're probably wondering why I haven't used one of the existing World War II maps out there. And the simple answer is I just wanted to keep the mod limit low. I didn't want people to have to download World War II mods for the sake of playing this map. I've kept Cup Terrain's core because I think it's a staple of most people's mod lists by now. And the actual terrain of Rosche or Rosche or whatever it's called isn't that big, so I don't think it's a big ask on top of Cup Terrains, to be fair. And probably another reason, I think since the Contact platform update to ARMA, it included all the new kind of buildings from Livonia, or the ruins, and I think, to be fair, it's a match made in heaven really. So to basically sum it up in one word, it'd just be accessibility at the end of the day. So I did have to compromise a bit in this and take some creative liberties. Obviously I don't have loads of World War II assets at my disposal. The one compromise mainly would be the bridge. I can't change it. Well, I could change it, but it would mess up the AI pathing. As you know, ARMA 3's AI it struggles with bridges anyway. So changing the bridge and then trying to get them to use it, oh my god, no. It's not even worth fighting that battle, guys. And as for the creative liberties, I suppose the other main one would be obviously the assets themselves and the forested areas. I actually wanted to keep some of the pine forests, even though you typically won't find this in Normandy. I think from a gameplay perspective, I think it'd be nice for an attacker to have that kind of covered approach, so they're not exposed all the way to the objective. So at this point I think I'm just going to speed up the footage a bit and try and kind of keep a bit of a running commentary here and there. So what we're looking at now is something I've done off screen. Basically I've organised the assets I wanted to use. So at the top of the road I've got the bigger assets, the main buildings, the focal points, and then they gradually get smaller into these medium-sized buildings. Next up we've kind of got the ruins, the rubble, the craters, some of the walls I want to use. On the right hand side, these are kind of assets I'm not sure if I'm going to use, but could come in handy. So I've just placed them there anyway, so I can just grab them or use them for quick reference. And now I'm zooming in on like the church. This is a tough decision because this church I'm moving now, I kind of like the look of it, but the roof, you'll see it's just a bit too pristine to use in a war-torn city. It's a shame really, because I really like that kind of bell tower. So now I'm kind of glitching in another object just to try and see if I can blend it somewhat. Yeah, so here's another thing I did off screen. Had another go at making a church really. If you look at this reference image, you can see the kind of main structure to the church is kind of offset to the tower anyway. So I used the ruined towers from Altis, just kind of tried to make sure the kind of main structure looked bombed out, shelled out. So at this point I'm checking the height of the actual tower and its sight lines. I did like it, but the only thing I didn't like was the fact that it didn't have a window facing, well, you'll see now. There's no window facing that way, so that's a sightline issue. However, you can get up into this kind of attic space, so you can be really sneaky and still defend that kind of approach. So here I am doing, well, I don't know what I'm actually doing at this point. I think I'm just giving the assets a final check, seeing if I'm happy with them before I start placing. It's always good to just do a little once over, see what you've got in your inventory, I suppose. So at this point I've cut to where I've placed the church, kind of in the rough place where I want it to be. I always find it's easier to start off with the bigger structures first and then kind of work your way down, but you'll see in this video that I do try and start detailing before I'm ready. This I believe I'm using as the cafe building where Upham has to resupply, is it Private Mellish on the 30 cal? Yeah, where the German basically gets up the stairs and knifes the guy. So yeah, unfortunately that was the best asset I could find that would best match the layout of the scene. So at this point I'm going to leave you with a bit more footage. I will pop back into with a bit more commentary, you know, where needed. You'll also notice quite a few cuts or like sharp pauses. Basically this is me checking reference images. So where possible I'll actually display these on screen for you so you can actually see the scenes I'm trying to recreate. I'm not going for exact matches because I think, you know, it's nice to take some kind of artistic, well, creative liberty. You put your own stamp on it, so to speak. Well, here you can see I was a bit in two minds on what I was going to do with this area. I think the problem is from the original source material you can see it's a set dressing, it's not a full town. So from a ground level view on set, you know, it looks like a full town, but from this reference photograph you can see it's quite sparse. So I was just seeing ways I could combat that. Oopsie, this is what I was actually talking about earlier. Instead of concentrating on the main buildings, the bigger stuff, I do sometimes get drawn into doing detail work. Yeah, I don't know why I've suddenly switched to doing all the small stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to just pop in at this point and just warn you guys, if you're going to do a build like this, don't get distracted by the small stuff. Just get your major stuff in first. So from time to time you might actually see me pop out the editor and go in game. This is actually quite a good thing to do. It's quite practical. It'll give you a good sense of the scale of what you're building. I suggest doing it after every kind of major milestone, every major junction or building. Just pop in, just see how it feels. What I was checking for here specifically was if the players are able to kind of get over the rubble, get into the ruins, if there's going to be any movement issues. But to be fair, against my better expectations, it came out fine. Right, I'll interject again because yet again I'm doing the same thing. I've started fussing and faffing over small stuff. Really guys, just don't do this. It just detracts from your overall build. There's plenty of time for this later. Especially with the decals on the ground. I don't know what I was doing there. It was like a industrial concrete. You'll probably see either, I don't know if it's in this video or the next video, I actually remove this altogether. So just ignore this part please, because it looks horrid. Hey guys, I wanted to keep this first part under 20 minutes, so I'm going to start rounding off the video now. I believe in the next episode coming up in the build series I start on the canal and bridge area and start building some of the side streets, which you obviously don't see in the film. So yeah, it's pretty much an expansion the next episode, so I look forward to seeing you there. Ciao for now.